Hey, did you know Americans stop or prevent a violent crime 1 to 3 million times per year with a gun? That's right. Studies from Florida State, the CDC, and the Crime Prevention Research Center show that guns are used to protect life 25 times more often than when they are used to take a life. 25 times, and that's an estimate that's very low. And if you believe that good people deserve the best tools to defend themselves and their families, then you should be a member of San Diego County Gun Owners. San Diego County Gun Owners makes it easy to connect with the community that's fighting to defend and restore your Second Amendment rights. And you need to become a member today.
Please.
It's $10. I'll loan it to you. Go to SD. I'll get thousands and thousands of calls.
Well, the funny thing is you're going to loan it.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's right. I even said that. I like that.
Yeah.
STCGO.org/join to become a member.
I'd like to see the paperwork on that loan.
Yeah, me too.
How you
It's
gonna
thick,
manage that?
about 12 pages.
I would imagine.
Hey, how many watches you got on your
Still the same.
site?
Well,
on your site.
Yeah.
Have you been keeping track?
Well, no, but did you see? I put your watch up there.
I did. I was very impressed.
Watching.
I didn't know what to do with it. I couldn't get it off. But
Yeah, if you're interested in my Instagram, my little side project, you're going to look for watching on Instagram.
But isn't it watch lower a little line at the
little
bottom?
underscore watching. Yeah, I think that's what it's. I don't even remember what it's called. It's just my dumb little hobby. I just go look for.
I think you have more fun doing it than anything.
I just like it. It honestly, it gives me an opportunity. So what happened was I got into watch. I started walking around, and I'm looking. I'm like, hey, what's
that's a
that
different
guy?
one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's my favorite.
When'd you get that one?
I don't know, 6 months ago.
What kind is it?
It's a TISO.
Timex?
No, it's a TISO.
Oh, a TISO. Yeah, I like TISO.
It's a TISO. It's a TISO gentleman.
It's sparkly.
With rose gold. I know, I love it. The
What, are you going on a date?
no, but where was I going?
Say hi to Alisha.
Hi, Alisha.
Hey.
She's sitting over here real quiet.
I feel like left out of the club. I need to watch.
But she has
I need
a
a
watch.
recommendation.
Did you take
You have a watch?
Did you take a picture of her watch?
No,
Does the Apple Watch count?
no,
I don't think it does.
not count. There will be no Apple Watch on
So
my
I think
Instagram.
I need you guys to go shopping with me.
Hey, I tried to take him. I had a place all picked out, and I can't get him to go because I think his wallet starts pulsating.
Yeah, my watch
watch
budget.
budget?
My watch budget's blown. A buddy of mine, his wife actually was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a new watch." I took 3 days. I'm all over the internet. She had all this criteria, but I found it, man.
Did she?
Oh my
Did
gosh,
she
I'm
buy
so
it?
proud of myself. Yeah. Well, what ended up happening is I found 2 that I liked, and I bought them both for her as a gift.
What?
I know, because she's so nice to me, and she puts up with my buddy, and he's a lot to put up with. So, hey,
we're going shopping.
No,
dude.
we're not going shopping.
Yeah, we're going.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to a restaurant.
Uh-oh.
Why would you cringe?
Well, because you eat weird food.
No, it's not. I found the #1 spaghetti.
I saw the picture.
Yeah, way better. Way better.
Oh, yeah. PB?
It's down in PB, a place called Sauced. And it's actually, it's right there. It's right in between Grand and Garnett on Ingram,
Yeah, I know.
if I'm remembering
I know those
correctly.
places, yeah.
And it is the best
Spaghetti.
spaghetti I've ever had. First off, their pizza's super good. It's it's an Italian restaurant, but they're heavy on pizza. And the owner's super nice, and her nephew runs the cook, the galley.
Scratch made?
And everything, I'm pretty sure, because everything in there is really, really unique. But they have the best spaghetti I've ever had in my whole life. It's so delicious. They do such a good job.
With meatballs?
With meatballs. Meatballs are super good. But the whole thing's really, really good. The whole restaurant is super good. And they even have live music on Fridays and Saturday nights.
By the way, we did good. This is the 3rd week we haven't talked food.
Oh, we went 3 weeks without talking about food, and here I ruin it with more spaghetti talk.
I was curious to see how long we were going to go, and I didn't even bring it up.
I brought it up. I had to tell everybody.
So is
I'm
that
so
your
happy.
new spot?
It's my new spot.
Have you told these people that you put them on radio? That you tell them?
I don't know if I told
Well,
her.
you should tell them.
I told you.
Say, hey, guess what?
I don't want to walk around town like, hey, I'm going to put you on the radio.
Well, yeah, but you
Not
can
like
get
a big jerk.
free spaghetti. Come on, you got.
I don't want free spaghetti.
You
I want
gotta
their
work-
spaghetti. It's delicious.
You're making me hungry. I've
Well, I
been
think
here
we
all
should
day.
Alicia, mark your calendar. Let's bring.
I'll eat spaghetti.
I figured we'll bring Uncle Dave here,
All right.
Absolutely.
and we'll grab some
Spaghetti.
spaghetti.
Spaghetti. I love it.
Yeah, it was super. It was super good. So sauce down in PB. No, this is not a paid
No, it's not a paid commercial.
Spot.
Hey,
I just had to talk.
government's going to turn off the sun. Did you see that?
Yes.
No.
Since you don't watch the news,
No, I don't watch.
Yeah.
they said that's it. We're gonna shut down the sun.
I'm not even surprised. Like, I'm not even like, what?
Well, what
How
happened
could
to
they do
solar?
that?
If you shut off the sun, what's going to happen with solar?
What's actually going on?
They're going to.
What's it,
what they're going
Alisha?
to do? They're going to paint the
They're
snow.
going to redirect. Oh, gosh.
What are
I think
doing?
they're going to paint the snow black, and they're going to figure out some way to block it. And they actually admitted that they've been seeding the clouds, because my conspiracy wife keeps telling me when she sees a plane go over, chemtrails. They're chemtrails. They're trying to affect the weather, and they actually admitted they're doing it.
What? No, they didn't.
Yes,
they didn't
they did.
admit they're doing something with chemtrails.
Yes, they did.
They've been, trying to seed clouds for years, but that's not chemtrails.
I think it is.
I don't know where are we? What path are we going down right
I
now?
don't know. This is the open air.
This was like, you remember,
15 minutes.
remember like 10 years ago, they said they wanted to put a blanket over the ocean to
Well,
stop.
that's next.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Well, no, as I was coming up in the elevator to get up here, Rich showed me that article, and there was he made a statement as I was thinking it, like, and he goes, and it's not from the Babylon Bee. Reading me the title of the article about what you just stated.
Right.
It's like, are you kidding me?
No. They're
Yeah.
serious about it because they think that the sun is the reason we're having all these problems.
I don't even know what to say. All right, let's talk about what's coming up on the show. We're going to talk about the San Diego's gun violence listening session recommendation. So we were talking about the listening sessions. We showed up in mass.
This is a while
Huge.
back.
A couple months.
Okay.
And they finally produced a final document, the San Diego County Gun Violence Reduction Community Needs Assessment Comprehensive Report. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Orange County's got a gun show coming up. We're going to talk about, we're going to have a very special curtain call. Alicia's going to talk about something cool. And the Supreme Court is actually taking a new case that has to do with the Second Amendment. It's kind of interesting. We're talking about that. We'll maybe touch on Imperial Beach and their moratorium on gun shops. And, of course, happy 4th of July, everybody. What are you doing, Alisha? What are you doing for the 4th? You doing anything cool?
I'm going to take my kids to the fair on that last day.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm a little crazy like that, and then we're just going to spend
That's
the night with
not
friends.
crazy. I've been there on the last day, on the 4th of July.
I did it once, and I don't know if it was a fluke, but it was not busy, and I'm hoping for the same.
It was not busy, but then are you going to stay and watch the fireworks?
No, we're going to be with friends.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, they have really, really nice fireworks. What about you, Super Dave? You doing something cool?
You're going to love this.
I don't know if I... Now I'm afraid.
You're going to want to come.
All right.
Going over to my cousins, my wife's cousins,
Yeah.
at 4:30 and watch John Wick 4. Then we're going to watch the fireworks.
Wow.
Because he lives up on a pretty high hill and you can
Yeah.
overlook.
Oh, wow.
Have you seen John Wick 4?
I haven't seen a single John Wick. I didn't know they were up to 4.
Oh my gosh! And if you thought Red Dawn was good,
I know Red Dawn is good. It's
I'm
the
just-
best documentary ever created.
I'm trying to get the ammo concession.
Is
for
it
John
all?
Wick.
This is dumb. Is it all Keanu Reeves? Is he in
Yeah.
all 4?
Yeah.
He's done 4.
But he's a little slower than he was when he started with number 1.
We're all a little.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I can't wait. I'm so excited.
And we're gonna talk a little bit about Not Me, by the way.
I just
I
pitched,
thought
I
that
just, I just pitched that lady that was in my Racer radio show, and she's going to call Desi.
Well, we just opened up. Good. We just opened up a 501c3, a not-for-profit. We're going to talk a little bit about
Sweet.
that. And your charitable giving can now support your obsession with the Second Amendment. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well.
And Brendan has been playing this music all day. Aren't you excited?
I'm excited.
I think he's doing an awesome job.
Yeah, little left,
Patriotism.
right, left.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
Philip, what is it? Souza?
Yeah, Philip Souza and his friends.
I thought is there an initial something? Philip
P.
P.
I don't know.
Philip P. Souza. All right.
Sounds like a soup. Hey, if you own a gun in California, you should have an attorney that specializes in California gun laws. On your speed dial, that is. Because if you ever have legal matters that involve firearms, you need California's firearm lawyer, John Dillon. Especially if you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you just need to know that your guns are California compliant. Our trusted firearms attorney is John Dillon. John specializes in California gun laws. Put his number on your phone right now, 760-642-7152. There's 50. That's John Dillon, 760-642-7152. 7150.
So we're going to talk about this gun violence reduction community needs assessment, this report that they came out with. But before we do, we just had a kickoff event, a very small, intimate, but very successful kickoff event for Not Me CA. Now, we've been talking a lot about our Not Me program. And the Not Me program, of course, is, Desi runs it. If you're a woman and you want a firearm, you want a permit, and you want training for free, they will help you along with the program, get you training, get you a gun, get you a permit. And if any of that is something that you can't afford, we're going to find a discount, a grant, or something to make
help
sure
you
that
out.
self-defense. Yeah, Alisha, you've helped out with Not Me.
Yep, I have. Absolutely.
And the program's been wonderful. It's been around for, I think, 3 years now.
Over 600 applicants.
No,
almost
approaching 9. I
Yeah.
believe.
Oh, is it up to
Or
9 now?
8.
Over 9.
Over 9.
Over 9.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to get to 1,000 by September, which is gun prom. So it's been really successful. Dave's constantly talking about it. Alisha helps. We all help. It's been really, really great. So here's what we did. We opened up a 501c3. Now, a 501c3 is an actual charity, which means that, if you donate money, for example, to San Diego County gun owners, it's not tax deductible, right? But if you donate, because it's not a 501c3. So there's a lot of different kinds of not-for-profits, but there's only one, to my knowledge, that is where the donations are actually tax deductible. And so we opened up that type of organization. It's a 501c3. It's not political. All it's designed to do is help fund the program. So the 900-plus women who've gone through the program, hopefully there'll be, 9 million over the next, few decades or whatever. If they need a gun, if they need training, if they need a permit, whatever they need, all that funding, we're raising money for the 501c3 to help fund that. And not just here in San Diego, because it's called Not Me California for a reason. We want this thing to, spawn programs. So the program is what Desi runs. The 501c3 is what helps fund it. So that's what we did. So we had one donor say, look, for every dollar raised up to $25,000, I will match it.
Really?
So up to $25,000, every dollar raised, he will match it. He and she, it's a couple, super nice folks. So if you go right now and donate, go to notmeca.org, notmeca.org, make a donation. Up to $25,000, it will get matched, and we're closing in on that. We're getting fairly. We're maybe like halfway there. So the money you give right now will help us get an additional $25,000. If we can raise that $25,000, we'll get an additional $25,000.
Can you do a monthly?
Yeah. You can donate monthly. You can donate one time. You can donate annually.
Because I got to tell you, I donate monthly to you.
Yeah.
I don't even know it. I'm
Well, we
serious.
do because it's super
I know,
helpful.
But I'm just saying for folks out there that, everybody's asking for. If you do it on a monthly basis,
You just don't even notice.
that's what I just said. You must have been listening.
I was listening. Well, there's a couple things. So I know that, we have a bunch of really super generous, donors, and their political donations are going to San Diego County gun owners or Inland Empire gun owners or Orange County gun owners. But they're probably still funding some charity that they like, and if we could capture a portion of that charitable funding to our 501c3 or even all of it, because we know you're passionate about the Second Amendment, that'd be awesome. So those who are looking to be charitable and who are looking to support and, give tax deductible money to an organization, go to notmeca.org, and that'd be super helpful. We had one guy who called up and he said, I have to take a required minimum distribution from my retirement plan because he's over a certain age, over 70. I think it's over 70. Eventually the government says, hey, you got to start taking money from your tax-free retirement plan. So he just said, okay, great. I'm taking my entire required minimum distribution, and I'm just having my company, my retirement fund company, write it directly to Not Me California. And it not only does he not have to pay taxes on that required minimum distribution, but in his case, it'll actually help him do better when he files his taxes than had he taken the RMD and then donated after. So he's just straight lining it to
Wow.
Not Me, California. So all that is something you're going to continue to hear a lot about. It's not going away. It's just going to grow bigger.
So you bring up a point, okay? Because it sounds to me like there's multiple ways of donating.
Yes.
You don't have to look at that watch. There's one on the wall. It's a really nice
Yeah, but
one.
it's not as pretty.
Well, I know.
I didn't even know.
Am I boring?
I didn't even care what time it was.
I didn't think so.
God, look
am
how pretty that is.
Am I boring? Well, because I deal with the automotive museum and what have you, and people donate property, they donate cars, they donate all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
Are you at that level?
Yeah, sure. You want to donate something?
Well, I'm
gonna
just
take
saying,
care of
because
a car or whatever.
and then you have the option
Sure.
to either sell it or what have you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about what's next. So that's Not Me, California. Not Me, CA.
So that's out of the way.
Not Me, yeah.
Oh,
Check it
you
out.
had
Put
a
it on.
party and Alisha and I weren't invited?
You were invited.
I was not.
Oh, my apologies. That was Desi's department.
One of your best outside salespersons.
San Diego County Gun Violence Reduction Community Needs Assessment Comprehensive Report. This is a 204-page document. 204 pages. What happened was the county said, hey, we want to spend six figures. We thought about just throwing it down the toilet, but instead what we're going to do is the next best thing, almost identical. We're going to hire a totally biased firm, and we're going to study gun violence. How do we stop gun violence? So they did a number of things, and the table of contents is 2 pages long. This thing is 3 pages long.
So that's why you brought your computer in.
That's why I brought the computer. I spent the weekend reading this thing, and I got to tell you, we showed up in mass at their listening sessions. We flooded their email with comments. We were very vocal. We sent feedback to them. We talked to. We did all kinds of things. We were very, very effective, and all in all, it's not a horrible document. I was expecting a horrible document. It's not a great document. It's not even a good document, but it's not horrible. But part of the reason it's not horrible is because of everything that we did.
You did a good job.
But for Gun Owners Radio and San Diego County gun owners, this probably would be a horrible document. And we were actually mentioned a couple of times in here, as was Not Me, California. But I just wanted to go over a couple things, and we'll chat about it. Let me just talk about the table of contents real quick. Let me get there.
You want somebody to help you with that?
Yeah.
Alisha?
No, not Alisha.
Alisha can knock that thing
She's
out.
always embarrassing me. Okay. So, they have a fact sheet. They do an introduction on why they're doing it, the type of methods they used. Gun ownership, safety, and perceptions, which is, some of the secondary data that they use. Defensive gun use. They barely touch that. They barely touch defensive gun use, by the way.
They didn't hear the first commercial on today's show?
No, they didn't. And that was something that we continued to bring up. And when we brought it up, it was like a deer in headlights.
Well, no,
they were
went,
like, what? What do you mean?
nah,
Yeah.
nah.
No, it was more like, what do you mean guns can be used in a positive manner, So I see that they added something to it, but that was definitely because of us. And they were slightly dismissive.
Only slightly?
But the problem was they were dismissive in the way they were dismissive. It was like, well, there's just not a lot of data on that, and blah, 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 so we're just not even going to talk about it. I'm like, wait a minute. Shouldn't the fact that shouldn't that be one of the recommendations?
Yeah, hello.
That there should be better data on it, or you know what I mean? Like, shouldn't you, oh, well, no, it doesn't, because it doesn't support our narrative, our preconceived narrative.
Well, then give us half our 6 digits back.
Yeah, really. Firearm-related injuries, emergency medical services, suspected crimes involving firearms,
I think you're right the first time.
gun violence in the media, mass shootings. 3 pages just of for a table of contents, and then there's A through S for the appendix.
Do they at any point differentiate legal, not even talking about defensive, but legally, properly registered, following all their compliant laws, violence, right, in quotes, versus illegally acquired?
They didn't really go in. It really didn't go much into that at all. I mean, they kind of didn't care. It really wasn't.
Doesn't fit their narrative.
It doesn't fit their narrative. I mean, they were clearly hired to try to be anti-gun. But again, I want to emphasize that because of us, they weren't able really
I was gonna say,
to
did they
paint
succeed?
the picture. We succeeded in making this document not horrible. But let me tell you about some of the things that they did find out. Deaths, injuries, suspected crimes. Okay, 7 in 10. So 7 in 10, about 70% of firearms-related deaths in San Diego County are suicides. 70%. So of all the people that died and a gun was involved,
It was suicide.
about 70% was a suicide.
Could you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean that's actually it's a little higher. That percentage is a little higher in San Diego than it is throughout the country. But I think what it is this next number, about 3 in 10 or 30%. It's 28.9% actually, are homicides. And I think what it is that we don't have a high suicide rate. We have a low homicide rate.
Right.
Now, what's the difference? You guys know what's the difference between a homicide and a murder? All murders are homicides, but not all homicides are murders. A murder speaks to intent.
I was just going to say, it speaks to intent.
Where homicide is basically any time a life is taken.
Yeah, like a drive-by.
Or it could be like a defensive gun use.
Right.
Where, illegal, life, that's still considered a homicide. Oh, so that's time already?
What?
All right, cool.
Okay,
we're going to
so
talk more about this.
Are we going to
No, we're going to talk about this document.
Are we going
in
to
the
pay
next-
Alisha to fact check and give her 6 figures?
That'd be great.
Because somebody's got to fact check this.
I can give her 6 figures, but it's all going to be on the other side of the decimal.
Can't you put a lullaby on her?
I think it's Philip C. Sousa.
Is it Philip C. Sousa?
Are we back to this again? Come on.
Hey, you got to listen to it too.
I love this song.
But you got to stay in your chair and quit
That's-
marching around
you
the,
got it.
in
All
the
right,
office.
stop
Easy.
Wearing a little hat.
Wearing a little hat. Ah, isn't he cute? Orange County Gun Owners is dedicated to preserving and restoring Orange County.
I'm way off.
self-defense.
It's John Philip Sousa.
What did you say?
I was Philip something Sousa. I knew there were like 3, anyway.
Okay, next Sunday, your phone is at the door. Alisha, she keeps hers. Again.
There he is. You ever seen a picture of him?
Yeah, look at that mustache.
All right, go
He's
ahead.
bad to the bone.
All right, sorry.
Orange County Gun Owners is dedicated to preserving and restoring Orange County self-defense rights. And if you live in Orange County and want to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, you need to join ocgunowners.com/join. Orange County Gun Owners is the organization to help get more pro-Second Amendment officials elected. So become a member today. ocgunowners.com/join.
You have to train your mustache, Dave, to be.
I know.
John Philip
Yeah.
Sousa?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna work on that.
Gonna work on
Well, that's
that.
mine's a Van Dyke. I don't think it was.
See, I look like
named
a
after-
criminal when I do that.
No,
I tried it. I almost arrested myself.
I don't know what you look like now. You look like a circus strongman or something.
I do,
back
don't
in
I? That I know.
the 19.
1910 or
20s,
20s, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going over this document that was produced. We've determined what we already knew. The vast majority of deaths where there's a gun involved are suicides, and then after that are homicides.
Hey, if somebody wants to read this, is it public someplace?
We'll probably end up sending it out. I don't know. They just sent me a copy. I don't know.
I would imagine if it was bad, then it would have been on the front page of the Union Tribune.
So here's let's see, 6.6 per 100,000. San Diego County rate of firearms related deaths, 6.6 per 100,000. Okay, so that's less, of course, than that's less than a percent. That's like a 100th of a percent, right? 6.6.
This report's not going well.
Well, the California, this is kind of interesting. This part, this is why I'm reading it. The interesting part is that the California rate is 8.0. So we're 6.6. We're much lower.
Yeah.
And the national rate is 13.7. And I would imagine in California, if you took out L.A.,
Sacramento,
if you took
San
out
Francisco,
what's the Oakland?
yeah,
In California, it'd be much lower. Nationally, if you took out Chicago, it'd be much lower. It's all very, very concentrated. 56.3% firearm-related homicide rate increase from 2017 through 2022. 56.3%. The suicide rate decreased by 18%. Okay, so the homicide rate went up significantly,
And suicide went down.
suicide decreased fairly significant.
But that goes against all the other reports about COVID causing suicide to go as high as it went.
No, that's true. I hadn't thought about that.
That's why I'm here.
19% firearm-related injury hospitalizations rate increased from 2016 to 2020. So 2016 to 2020, there was a 19% increase in people who were injured by a firearm.
That's why you need more training.
Well, it could be, but it could also be that this gang member shot this other gang member and he didn't die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
More training.
It could have been. I hadn't really thought of it. Don't come to any of our guys for more training.
No, not to Dave.
Yeah.
64% firearm-related crime rate increase from 2017 through 2021. It's mostly assault and robbery. So the firearm-related crime rate increase from 2017 to 2021 was a 64% increase, which is high. But it was mostly assault and robbery. Now, these are some pretty big numbers, right? 70%, were suicide, and 30% were homicide, and this huge increase in assault and robbery. And they did this whole study, okay? Spent six figures, this whole study. Guess how many over from 2017 to 2022. So that's 5 years. In 5 years, how many actual deaths by firearm in San Diego County were there? That's suicide and homicide. So total, the whole thing, how many deaths are we talking?
I don't have a computer.
So again, I know you don't, but just, I mean, all these huge numbers. You would think like, wow, they're doing a whole study on this. They'd spend all this money. It's got to be huge. 1,310.
In 5 years.
13 to, in five, spread out over 5 years. Now, it is sad and tragic when anyone
Without a doubt.
dies, of unnatural causes. Anytime someone is
When you stop
killed
and think
or
about it, you don't
commits suicide.
hear on radio or TV how many people are shot and killed in San Diego.
Well, I think this is one big.
So that number kind of fits.
It fits, but I think it's something about this report that isn't going to get talked about. The fact that the anti-gun crowd acts like, every time you walk out the door, there's a bullet flying by your head, and they're wrong. This is pure garbage that they're trying to feed. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do more to prevent suicide. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do more to prevent murders. We should. One is tragic. But 1,305 years, and they're going through this whole firearm-related injuries in San Diego County from 2016 to 2020. 2016 to 2020. So that's a 4-year, time period. A little bit different time period. 1,367 injuries. Now again, because Alisha and Dave and I, we're all law-abiding people. When we think of a firearm injury, right, we're thinking,
Is that a slide bite? Does that count?
a what?
A slide bite?
Yeah, right. I wonder if they included
Right.
that. But we're thinking of like, oh my gosh, there's some kind of negligent discharge or something. Somebody did something careless. Maybe they were cleaning their gun or whatever. But remember, a firearm-related injury could also be something that was supposed to be a murder. So, but still, 1,367. So they looked at 2,600 instances, and this is what they had to produce. This is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, but at least they wrote it down.
You have how did you find that?
So to answer Dave's question, it is findable online. I did have to go through about 4 websites to get it. I kept getting that click here to view report. It would take me to another.
Well, they like to do that.
Op-ed, and then it would take me. So if you just search gun violence reduction, community needs assessment, it'll take you there. It is a PDF file.
Now here's some information that's a little meatier, maybe even uncomfortable for some folks. Firearm homicide rate for black residents is 9.9 times greater than white residents. So that means that the homicide rate in the black community in San Diego is 10 times as much as white residents. Firearm homicide rate for Hispanic residents is 2.5 times greater than for white residents. Firearm suicide rate for white residents is 2.2 times greater than for black residents. And then firearm suicide rate for white residents is 5.9 times greater than Hispanic residents. So what are we trying to say here? And by the way, the firearm-related homicide rate is highest among 25 to 44-year-olds. The firearm-related suicide rate is highest among people who are over 65. So what does this mean? It means that the vast majority of suicides, the 70%, are in the white community, and they're over 65. I believe I saw somewhere in here, I'm not seeing it right in front of me, I believe that they're predominantly male as well. So, and they also produced a report that showed like the concentration, and it was East County. So if you're wondering, okay, 70% of these gun deaths, of these 1,300 gun deaths over 5 years, 70% of them were suicides. Who and where? Right. Well, they're older, they're white, they're actually senior citizens. They're senior citizen, they're white, they're male, and they probably live in East County.
Yeah.
Did drugs ever come into these numbers? In other words, the deaths
Not that I found.
of the black community or the Hispanic community?
It wasn't really but let's talk about they did talk about the firearms related homicide rate is highest among 25 to 44-year-olds.
Right.
So
drugs have got to be in there somewhere.
Well, I don't know what you mean. Like
drug deal going bad.
So it was I don't know if they got that, but it was clearly crime.
Yeah,
that's where we're going. 25 to 44-year-olds, and it's much greater in the black and Hispanic community.
Right.
And in that same map where they show the concentration of it, it was in areas where there's a high crime rate.
Where you would expect it.
So so who's the other group of people? Well, it's black and Hispanic men, 25 to 44-year-old in high crime. It's reasonable to think that the homicide deaths are criminals. They're probably murders. There probably aren't a lot of defensive gun uses in San Diego because there just aren't a lot of unless you count. I should say there are probably a lot of defensive gun uses, but not a lot of them where they actually have to pull the trigger and shoot somebody. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of that. But most of the murders are crime related, which sounds funny, right? Of course, murder is crime. Well, what we're saying here is that these are career criminals, probably killing career criminals as a part of their career of being a criminal,
and more than once.
So if you die in San Diego County and a gun was involved, you were an old white East County man who killed himself, or you were a young Hispanic or black man who was probably committing a crime.
Wow.
So that's the breakdown. Mm-hmm. If you're wondering, what the actual breakdown is, that's what it is statistically. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that so far, guys?
Ladies first.
The suicide part, like I was, when I was searching to find the document, I was trying to catch up to where Mike was reading from, and I did find the area that he was referencing as far as the suicides, and I was surprised. I didn't anticipate or seeing that East County connection. It listed Ramona and Alpine as being, if I recall, the two highest. Let me go back to that page.
Well, while you're doing that, I had a very good friend of mine got diagnosed with cancer. Came home, pulled out his gun, went in the backyard and shot himself. I mean, he didn't even didn't talk to his wife, didn't talk to his family, just because he didn't want to have to deal with cancer. He ended it, which could relate to that 65 and older demographic.
Oh, for sure. So one more thing before we go to commercial. On July, I'll
just pick a date.
25th, July 25th, the county board is going to talk about this. So what you want to do is keep an eye on San Diego County gun owners' emails and gun owners' radio. I'm definitely going to be there. They're going to talk about this report, and we're going to continue our efforts to make sure that nothing horrible comes from this.
Or if they don't, kink it.
Exactly. We want to be there and make sure our voices are heard and continue to make sure that they don't use this against us when clearly it supports so many of the things that we've been saying.
Yeah.
They even talk about not me as a possible help to reduce.
I'm starting to get a little bit more confidence in this report.
Well, but the report wouldn't be the report if it wasn't for us.
Exactly.
So this stuff doesn't just happen. And when we send an email out and say, "Hey, we need your help,"
we need your help.
Yeah. It's not. This doesn't help. This doesn't happen without
not just
you.
Blowing smoke.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go. We probably could spend. We could probably spend the entire show just talking about that report, I got to tell you. Maybe we'll bring it up again next week and talk more about it.
I think we should, unless you got some more important stuff to talk about.
Well, we got some people that are calling in.
Oh, the heck with them. Hey, if you ever wanted to get a pilot's license, here in San Diego, pilots can fly almost every day, which makes San Diego one of the best places to learn how to fly in San Diego, or in the world as far as that goes. Learn to fly with San Diego Flight Training International. Check out the deals. Just for gun owner radio listeners, 1 hour of ground school, 1 hour of flight with instructors. Yep, you get to fly. He's trying to wave at you. Normally, $400 for listeners is $350. Getting started is easy. Then you could give them a call at 858-569-1822. Learn to fly with STFTI, 858-569-1822. You need a grease board.
A grease board. I don't even know what that is. Are we talking about spaghetti again?
No, so you can write stuff down for notes, for Alisha.
Oh, I used to have one of those when I scuba dived.
Yeah. Like, help.
I don't know. I haven't scuba dived in years. Imagine they just text each other now underwater.
Probably.
I get you a text underwater.
It's 2023, Dave.
I'm still into thumb drives.
He's still in grease pencils.
I know. I like thumb drives. Oh, by the way, I love my pencils, so I don't want to hear anything out of you.
Jeez. He's ornery today, isn't he? He's kind of...
Hey, I'm going to bring you a pencil, and you will love this thing to death.
All right, fair enough.
Telling me I was 3 years old.
Calm down. I don't know what that means.
Oh, what's that triangle one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad to the bone.
So Alisha has a guest here.
She does.
Yes, I do.
Who you got?
All right, so we have Carlos. Carlos, are you there?
Hello.
Hey,
Am I
Carlos.
here? I'm there.
Fantastic. So Carlos, we had the lack of gun shows here in San Diego has hurt, right? So up in Orange County, they were successfully able to get a gun show kicked off, and we're here talking to Carlos today about the success of the OC Gun Show. So Carlos, how you doing?
Great. How y'all doing?
Oh, fantastic. So tell me a little bit
just
about.
to make sure, can y'all hear me? I got a little bit of noise background. I just want to make sure. So if I need to move, let me know now.
No, we can hear you really well. Perfect.
Perfect. So I'm down in Laughlin actually right now. I'm down by the river. It's so beautiful. It's very rare I get to be down near where I live. But no, you're right. The lack of gun shows has been pretty relevant right there in California for quite some time. I mean, obviously they changed laws to try and make it so it's hard for us to get in there. And so it's made us be a little bit crafty. And so, as you can tell, just finding people that are willing to work with us, that's been the one thing. I mean, we've been finding a lot of good folks down there in San Diego and even in Santa Clara, down over in Orange County. I mean, just about everywhere. I mean, shoot, if anything, I mean, right now, if anybody out there has a building, you're out in California, y'all are listening, and you think we can get this thing zoned in, or you already have an event hall, give us a call. I mean, we are willing to listen. I mean, we're willing to grow. We proved we can do it. I mean, we started small, and now we're wanting to grow it out there. So, if y'all are listening, the phone number is 650-520-6002. That's 650-520-6002. And I can tell you right now, in the communities that we've come in, it's been a wonderful welcoming. We've had so much outpour of support, people just saying, you know what, we're here just to support a gun show. And it's been awesome. They know it's been difficult.
Fantastic. We had another company kick off a gun show for us just a few weeks ago here in San Diego, and there was rumor of protesters in opposition, but it didn't really seem to come to fruition. Did you experience any negativity at all?
You know what? No, I'm surprised. I mean, we love our protesters. I mean, I'm not joking you. They do better advertising for us than we do.
I think they figured it out, because we didn't have any at ours either. And I think everybody was expecting at least somebody with a sign or something, but we had nothing.
Nothing but support.
I had protesters show up for us at an event in Mesa, Arizona, not too long ago. And I can tell you right now, it was great. I had so many people showing up, and they're asking, where's the protesters at? We only showed up because we saw on Facebook there were protesters, and they're showing up with their pro-gun shirts. It was awesome.
Fantastic. So where exactly was this event held up in Orange County?
What's that?
Where was the event held up there in Orange County?
So, hold on. Let me pull up the address. Sorry.
Well, was it like a convention center or something like that?
Oh, the one I was just speaking of right now? That was Mesa, Arizona, where we had the protesters.
And the Orange County? What's the locale of that one?
Well, it's coming up,
Where are we
right?
going?
The Orange County Gun Show is
Coming up?
actually coming up.
Coming up.
Yeah, they haven't
think-
done it yet.
They haven't done
Gotcha.
it yet.
That one's the one that's coming up.
Where's it going to be?
So we have that one. I'm sorry, I'm in 18 cities. I'm trying to pull it up right now.
You're
I
too
feel kind of embarrassed.
You're too close to the water.
The glare in the sun.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. Do you have an address that?
Well, he's looking it up, Dave. Give him a minute.
Well, he's
So
not.
we're at AZ
not
Gun
as fast as
Radio.
you. What? What?
azgunradio.com.
AZ.
So,
That's the what? Yeah. So there's the same
I'll
gentleman
look it
that
up
put on a
right
show
now.
down here in San Diego for us.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
So while you're looking that up, throw us the dates as well, so we can
so
make
we're
sure to
doing.
support
I knew
you.
it was an American Legion. I just wanted to make sure I got the post right. I know these folks are very, very specific.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing the one at 143 South Lemon Street. That's in Orange County.
Perfect. And what are the dates?
So this one is going to be on the July 8th, July 9th. Saturday, we're going to be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Are you going to that, Mike?
I'm not sure yet. I was just looking at the flyer that came, and we're going to see if we can we're going to see if we
somebody
can
up.
participate. We'd love to. But I think it's great that you guys are having a show. Your show in San Diego went well, and we're looking to have consistent shows in San Diego and grow them and get even better. And we really appreciated the symposium that you let us put on in the gun show. But the Orange County one looks fantastic, and I think that I know that folks up in Orange County are really, really looking forward to having a gun show again. So thank you so much.
No, thank you guys. You know, I really enjoyed having you guys down there. I mean, it really felt great, and seeing some of the crowd that you guys brought in. Again, seeing that support. I mean, they heard the voice from you guys. I mean, you're the trusted voice down here down in San Diego and California area. I mean, and so when you're telling everybody you're going to be down there, they're like, wow, really, there's a gun show. Can't believe it.
And,
I mean, it felt really great with some of the folks y'all bring.
and
Well,
what did you think?
We're definitely gonna promote it up in Orange County. So all our Orange County listeners, just like Dave said, show up just to show up.
Yeah, just show up to show up.
Yeah, just be
Just
like,
the
hey,
part.
how much is it to get in?
So at this one, it's $15 for the event.
Oh,
Now,
$15 is nothing.
Like you're saying, just to show up. I mean, one, we're going to give you a lot of reasons to show up. I mean, you never know what you're going to find in there. I mean, you've seen at the last place just so much different things that are coming in. I mean, from bulk ammunition to, hard to find ammunition, magazines. That's a big thing for y'all down there. Trying to find the right magazine for, that's legal down in California. I got a guy down there from Hard to Find. I mean, that guy brings a ton from every caliber to just about every manufacturer. If you're looking for scopes, I mean, we got the Osprey lineup. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but, I mean, they get some good quality American scopes that they got bringing in. I mean, of course, we're going to have our AR parts. We got Betty Huang. She's very, very, I guess you could say, popular in the area down over there. Oh, if you're looking for parts, she's going to be in there. But then also, we have some stuff that's a little bit different that not everybody has there. Like, for instance, we have Thomas from Infinite Products. Okay. So this guy comes out. He has different kinds of threaded barrels, muzzles, muzzle brakes, and then he has like this little deflector. It's kind of cool. So it's meant to save your ears. And, I mean, obviously you can get stuff, pay for a stamp and everything else, get a silencer. This one is a different. You don't need a stamp for it. This basically deflects. Deflects all of that noise and everything from the gun away from you, all that burst in energy away from you. So, I mean, it's a great product. I got the opportunity to actually see somebody try it out, and yeah, it goes just as it says.
You know who uses those a lot is like SWAT teams that are doing close quarter stuff. They want that blast to go away from them because they're in a hallway or something like that.
Close spaces.
Yeah, that's awesome that you guys are having that.
Yeah. Hey, what did you think of our symposium idea? Because you don't see that at gun shows very often.
No, not at all. I actually like that. I liked it because then it brings in people to have a little bit of a breakup from, I guess, the normal crowd. Get to get in there and get information. I mean, I love that.
Well, a limo and a ticket, and Mike's there.
Well, I was supposing it was a little bit more. We'd love to. I'm a one-man symposium.
Yes, you are. Or you could buy him a watch.
Well, how can they find you guys online, and what can they do to help spread the word?
Well, if you want to find us online, there's two ways. I mean, the fast way is to find us on Facebook. That's AZ Gun Radio, and just go ahead and like and share us. Or you can go to our website. It's at azgunradio.com. And you'll see our up-and-coming calendar right now. We got more dates, more cities planned right there in California, as well as a few others in a few other states as well, too, coming up. We got one coming up, like I said, in Laughlin. I'm getting one at the end of September, actually. So I started picking cities I want to go on vacation in, and I saw they had an REO Speedwagon concert coming up in Laughlin. And I said, shoot, we're doing a gun show there.
Nice.
Hey, Inland Empire Gun Owners. That's another fantastic group. And you know, you can join all of them. You don't have to just stick with one. I mean, $10. Come on, how bad could it be?
Right.
Inland Empire Gun Owners strives to be the ounce of prevention in the fight for your gun rights. How do they do it? They do it by fundraising and getting local pro-gun candidates elected. Become a member today. Go to iegunowners.com/join and join the growing number of responsible gun owners stepping up to defend our Second Amendment rights. That's iegunowners.com/join.
All right. Yeah, I got somebody actually started following after we talked about this.
About what? Watches?
Yeah, my watching. Somebody actually heard us on the radio.
Funny thing. We
Thank
have a
you.
listener.
Thank
We
you,
have a listener.
All right, subscribe and win. Winners, prizes, and events. Winning. Subscribe and win. Subscribe to our email list and win some swag. This week's winner is
Tyler Stark.
Tyler Stark.
How come I've never won?
Are you subscribed?
Of course.
Well,
I got an applause.
Tyler beat you out. Tyler, congratulations. You're going to win some cool swag, Gun Owners Radio. You're going to want to email prizes at gunownersradio.com to claim your T-shirt or your Gun Owners Radio hat. Free training for members announced on the 9th. CCW Next Steps with CCW USA. You're going to learn about other things you need to know about the CCW lifestyle after you get your permit with Joe Dramisi. He's teaching this class. It's actually excellent curriculum. I've been through the class, and it's it's kind of we have a ton of training in San Diego. We're blessed that way. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it's a lot of the same classes that other people. So it's a little bit different look, but it's basically the same level or same curriculum. So you get some basics. You take the class you have to take to get your CCW, and then there's not a whole lot after that. There's some pretty advanced stuff. This is really an interesting class for someone who just got their CCW, or maybe they've only had their CCW. Well, most of us have only had our CCW for five years or so. This is you're good at marksmanship. You've been carrying for a year or two or whatever. This is things you need to know to be a concealed carry person, not just marksmanship. I think, and we've talked about this. Mm-hmm. We spend way too much. Mm-hmm. We spend too high a percentage of our training time on marksmanship. And
I don't know that if it's too high. I think just not enough of the other stuff.
Well,
I like
right.
all the marksmanship
there you go.
stuff.
I like it too. That's why I was trying to. I didn't want to say we spend too much time.
Well,
that's why I didn't say too much time. So I said too much percentage. I think our percentage of our free time is not high enough in training, and the percentage of the time that we spend training is not high enough in non-marksmanship.
I think you should move on. Next topic.
I'm going to produce my own 200-page report.
I think you should.
All right. Anyway, the point is, go to gunownersradio.com and subscribe to our email list, and you might win this really cool class.
And Ken, if you want a shirt, go to that website and get a shirt.
Yeah. Who?
One of our listeners. He keeps beating me up for a shirt.
Oh, come on, Ken.
Come on, Ken.
Yeah, you can do it. All right. So we're doing a curtain call, right?
We have one. We do.
Fire away.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Brandon has something special.
The latest news stories. Insightful perspectives. It's time for Curtain Call.
That was awesome. Brendan, that was awesome,
He's
man.
so good. He is so good.
Happy 4th of July.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brendan. That was cute.
And that's it. All right, let's move on to the
That's it.
next.
All right, next. All right. So we do. We have it's a real. Oh gosh, it's I don't even. Oh, there's so much. So well, let me start. We have an on the phone guest, Raul. Raul, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. So Raul, just to kind of lead into it, Raul, I'm going to give you all the glory to tell your story, but just a really quick by way of intro. So we had a real life defensive use of a firearm that Raul was involved in, and the defensive use of his firearm is what helped to save not only his life, but the lives of those around him at a party. And ironically, the date, the date of today, is ironic, and I'm glad that we have you here on the air, Raul. So, Raul, just really quick intro. You were concealed carrying that day, and so that we know you're a carrier. Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and your history of firearms? Like, how did it start? When did you train? How young were you when you first started?
Yeah, actually, I was born and raised in California, and I was introduced to firearms at a very young age, probably about 6 years old. When I first shot my first firearm, my dad pretty much being a big, enthusiast. And, that's when he introduced me. And of course, along with that comes like the firearm safety and everything. So I remember as a kid just shooting my first firearm and just watching, my dad and my uncles. And after that, I was just hooked. I wanted to know everything about it. I just wanted to be around them. And so that's, when my dad kind of stepped in and just always just gun safety. And, I really appreciate that because that's fundamentally the most important part. That's where, firearms get the bad reputation, But with that being said, I was probably like 19, 20 when I decided to leave the state of California. Went to Arizona, and that's where I've been for the last 14, 15 years, married. I have 3 daughters. I had 2 daughters at the time of the incident. My wife was 7 months pregnant when this whole mass shooting incident happened. But thankfully, I survived. My family survived, and I was able to meet, my newborn child. And, with that, I've never had professional training. It's always been just huge enthusiast, just asking questions, from like my older sibling, my older brother, my dad, but nothing ever, formally, like going to a training class or anything. I did not serve in the military. I've never been law enforcement. So
you're just a regular guy.
Just your average dad, husband, average Joe with no, military, law enforcement background. Just, at the end of the day, just a good guy with a gun.
I love it. Perfect. So let's set the stage a little bit. So the date was July 3rd of 2022.
July 3rd, correct.
So, so you were at a party with your family. So it was you and your wife and your children and friends. And it sounds like there were some other children there as well.
Yes.
And so tell me, tell me, there's an article. In the article, there's some information given, but I want to hear firsthand from you. What did you see? What did you hear? Kind of how did the circumstances unfold?
Well, yeah, everything unfolded in the kitchen. The crazy thing is that my wife was sitting like 2 seats away from the shooter. And my wife saw when he got up from his bar stool. So the thing is, neighbor, we were outside lighting fireworks. He came, introduced himself, and made small talk. And eventually, a while later when we made our way inside the house, he made himself, he pretty much followed or went in after. And, the homeowner or the host, being a good neighbor, friendly neighbor, I met you outside. Would you like something to eat, something to drink? So that's where, he sat down at the kitchen island and they served him a plate of food and something to drink. And that's pretty much what it all started. In the middle of eating, he just kind of got up from his bar stool, pulled out a semi-automatic pistol, and just started opening fire. First victim, he just was literally right in front right in front of him on the other side of the bar of the kitchen island. He fired 2 rounds. He died instantly. One of the rounds just pretty much hit him dead center in the neck, and he just bled out right there and hit the ground. As soon as I hear that first gunshot, I'm probably about 10 feet away in the dining area. You know, my back is facing the shooter and everybody in the kitchen. But as soon as I heard those gunshots, I turned. And as soon as I turned, I was the next victim. He caught me in the side of the head and, you know, pretty much went by my right earlobe and just went through my whole face and came out my left eye. I think it was at the perfect angle because it didn't hit my brain. It didn't hit any major, nothing. It just fractured, my jaw, my nose, my eye socket, and took out my left eye. And luckily, it missed any nerve or anything important to my right eye. So I still, I still kept that vision. I still have that vision, thankfully. But that's when my wife, she hit the ground because she's literally sitting right next to the shooter. And as soon as he kind of makes his way towards the kitchen or the living room to continue fire at everybody there, my wife, runs to me, tries to get me up. She grabs my face and turns my head towards her. That's where she sees, I'm bleeding, blood covered. My whole face is just covered in blood. And that's where she just decides or, says, you know what? I can't get him up. My husband is dead. Now I got, 2 beautiful girls I need to go worry about. And that's where, she actually runs to the bedroom where she knows where the kids were. And that's where she barricades the door and, hides a total of 5 kids in the closet.
Hey,
Raul?
Raul, hold on a sec.
Raul,
Yeah, no worries.
This is a great point. Can we pause here, take a quick break, and have you back
Yeah.
on the next segment? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Hey, is there a better tool that empowers a woman to defend against an attack? Wait a minute. An attacker that's 100 pounds bigger?
Nope.
Thank you. That's why it's so important for women to learn how to defend themselves with the most effective self-defense tool ever invented for women. Led by women, the Not Me program is designed to help with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's free. Sign up. Go to notmesd.org, notmesd.org. All right, ready.
Thank you, Brandon. All right. So we have Raul. Are you still there with us?
I'm still here.
Fantastic. Let's pick up where we left off. So you stated that, and by the way, I'd just like to take a moment and acknowledge I couldn't imagine what your wife was feeling, seeing what she saw, and having to make that decision. That she couldn't. She had to make a decision, and
Right.
And as a parent, that's I commend her. That's tough. So she went to the room where you stayed. There were children, and I'd like to go ahead and have you pick up from there, please.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, yes. She did something really courageous. She had the option of running out the door. A lot of people did, unfortunately. But she decided, to go run to the bedroom. She found my 2 daughters, 3 other kids, and she put them in the closet, threw clothes on top of them, and barricaded the door with the dresser, and just told them to be quiet, no matter what. So as she's waiting there for the shooter to break down the door and possibly, murder her and hopefully not find the children, she just waits there. Could only imagine the worst is running through her mind. But as this is happening, the shooter, he running towards the living room where everybody's trying to run out the door. He just starts opening fire at everybody, just, running out the front door. That's where, others were wounded, shot in the back, shot in the arm, and actually one of them was shot in the leg. And, he unfortunately couldn't make it out the door. That's where he actually just walks up to him, and as, this friend is, begging for his life, asking him, why is he doing this? I'm married, I got kids. He didn't care. He just, raises his pistol back up and just murders him, just shoots him in the top of the head and executes him. So as everybody else ran out the door, he makes his way towards the master bedroom. You have 3 women in there and is it 2 children? Yeah, 3 women and 2 children hiding in there. So, he shoots down the door, breaks it down, goes through, and that's where the homeowner, the female homeowner, she decides to, Mama Bear kicks in and just decides it's either fight him off or just we all die here. So she decides to try to fight him off. She grabs his arm, tries to take away his pistol, and she's actually able to make him empty out his magazine. So as he's trying to, they're wrestling, she's pointing the gun away from her, and, all the remaining bullets are shot. Meanwhile, that's happening, though, she does get shot, unfortunately. She got shot about 3 times in the arm, once in the leg. But crazy how, she was still courageous, still was able to gather the strength to just say, hey, I'm going to fight him, So she is able to do that. And when I got out of the hospital, she actually had mentioned that she was yelling out my name. She was yelling out my name because she knew I concealed, a firearm religiously. So she knew that about me. Mm-hmm. So she told me, she's like, I was yelling out your name, Raul, help. But little did she know I was already shot in the head and most likely dead. Well, one of the girls that was in the master bedroom with her, she actually finds an AR. She finds a rifle, couldn't load it, no training, but she at least does the next best thing, and she grabs it and runs out, and she starts striking the gunman, with the rifle. Starts striking them, and, they're all fighting and wrestling, and honestly, by God's glory, this is the point where, my eyes open. My eyes open, I'm in the, dining room area, and I'm hearing screams. I'm, just hearing this battle. And that's where I had to decide what I'm going to do. I just got shot in the head. My chances of living are, poor to none. And it's either I could run outside and hopefully get medical attention and possibly survive, or continue to risk my life and, go towards those screams. And I did what any, loving father, loving husband, loving friend would do. And I ran towards those screams. I pulled out my 45 and I just made my way towards that room. And as soon as I saw him, I just laid 4 shots on him, killing him instantly. So the threat just ended right then and there.
That's amazing. I'm just curious. So your eyes opened. Were you aware? Were you sitting there thinking to myself, my God, I just got shot. I'm barely alive. How conscious of your situation were you? Or was it pure adrenaline? Or talk a little bit about that.
It honestly was, it's such a blur. It felt like a dream, but it was adrenaline, and I don't feel it was myself. I know I'm willing to always put my life on the line for my family, and that's without a doubt. I don't even have to think twice about it. But I just feel like something just gave me the strength. Like, I just can't explain it. Like, I can't sit here and tell you this is exactly. I just cannot explain it. Something, I'm bleeding out. I should still be laid out on the floor, but something got me up. So if that's what you want to call adrenaline, or if you want to say that's, God. And honestly, I'm thinking it's a combination of both. But honestly, I'm a Christian, and I do believe, in God. I do believe, He was there with me that night, and He wasn't ready to let me go. And this evil's everywhere. Evil's there. There's nothing we can do about it. The only thing we can do is just have our faith in God and go the extra mile and be prepared. That's where
how have you changed as a person? Like what has gone on inside you that has changed since this happened? Is the grass greener? Is the water wetter? You know what I mean? Like what has this done to you as a person?
You learn to appreciate every day. You learn to appreciate the things that matter most. We all get busy in our daily lives, and we neglect the things that should matter the most, because you feel, I'm going to be here tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it this weekend. I have 3 daughters now, and it's kind of like, hey, let's do this, Daddy. And it's just kind of like, oh, we'll wait until Saturday. I'm tired. Like, no, like certain things cannot wait. It's like tomorrow's not promised. 10 minutes from now is not promised. So you learn to appreciate just opening your eyes every morning, just seeing, my kids, those things, you just learn that nothing else matters in this world. But, my family, my kids' smiles and their well-being, and just all of us waking up in the morning.
How are your kids? How are your kids and your wife after all this?
I would say like anybody else would be after an incident like this. They're scarred. We're all scarred. But, we're going to get through it as a family. We talk about it, and we know what's out there, the evil that's out there, and now we got to be prepared to, face it with equal force. So, we go training. I know my youngest daughter, not my newborn, but, before, my youngest daughter, my middle child, very scared after the fact. We went shooting, and, she heard the gunshots, and she broke down and started panicking, and, she kind of tried to run off, and we had to stop the whole thing. But that's like why I had to step in and, talk to her and just tell her, like, hey, toughen up. We're going to get through this. What's out there. Luckily we survived, but this is why we survived, and this is what we're going to continue to do. It's like, get over your fear, and we're going to train. Because the bad guy, the bad person, the evil is not going to think twice before they, try to harm you. So we got to be prepared no matter what. So just, little things. We're getting through it, and just hopefully, we'll never get over it, but time will help heal. And I guess that's it.
I'm curious, Raul, in hindsight, you mentioned that this gentleman, if you want to call him that, approached your gathering, your friends, the party. Was there in hindsight, anything that you saw that was off, or that anybody observed or noticed, or was it really out of nowhere? Was there anything that you could have seen, or that you would look the other way on? No.
No. No. There was about 20, 30 of us, and I would have hoped one of us would have seen something off, but no. Nothing. Till this day, I'm not losing sleep over it, but we still don't know what the motive was. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I don't care. But I do get they do ask a lot. A lot of people ask me, like, why did he do it? What is the motive? Motive is unknown. To this day, the detective, police reports, it still just says motive unknown.
So, do you carry every day?
Oh, definitely.
So let me ask a question, since with the temperature going around the country right now,
right.
If somebody does what you do, they arrest you first before they even dig into it. What was the response of law enforcement in the city you lived in?
I live in Arizona. We're a constitutional carry. The response was great. No complaints. Of course, any law enforcement going into a situation like this, mind-blowing. Yeah. My city is not where there's shootings all the time and, anything like that. Calm, retired, where retired people go to, we call them snowbirds. So right next to my city, it's Sun City.
Oh, okay.
It's a retiring community. We get a lot of snowbirds. They leave in the summers because it gets too hot, but then they come back in the winter because the temperature's perfect. So I'm right next door. So calm. So, I think, the response was great.
Nice work, Raul.
Absolutely. God's definitely on your side, let me tell you. All right, folks, Mike's packed and ready to go. So if he's anywhere near the station, stay clear. A lot of companies waste an enormous amount of money on marketing. The design is excellent. The photos are beautiful, but yet your website really looks good, but not getting you any customers. Why? Because you don't have the words that make people buy. But now you can fix that with Sage Tree. Sage Tree can help you find the words that make it easy for your customers to understand. What do you do and how to buy from you? Stop wasting money today and schedule a call. Getting started is easy. Visit SageTree.com and click on the Schedule an Appointment button. That's SageTree.com and click on the Schedule a Call button. And if I don't hear the theme for the United States Army, Brendan is in serious trouble.
I have to go.
Yeah, you better go.
You guys have a theme?
Well, of course we do.
Oh.
I mean, he's already done the Air Force. He's already done the Coast Guard. He's already done the Navy.
That was the Marine Corps, right?
I know, but he hasn't come up with.
I just need to get the Space Force theme, and we're all set too.
Yeah, you would do that. You would put
Yeah,
that
I
on.
would. I would.
Jeez.
I'll bet you Philip C. Sousa didn't write the Space
I
Force.
bet you he didn't.
That's funny.
I think Trump did.
So a Supreme Court case, the Supreme Court is accepting a Second Amendment case.
By the way, they're not liked anymore
The Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Why?
because they're bad.
Why are they bad?
Because he didn't do everything the left wanted him to do.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but I like them.
I like him too.
I like what they've done with,
I
you know,
think
the Bruin case is the by far most important
Yeah.
and so well written. You know, it just couldn't have gone better. The Bruin case just couldn't have gone better.
Well, it's factual.
It's factual. So the first case since the Bruin case is going to the Supreme Court, and it's far. I was going to say it's far less cut and dry, but I don't know if I want to say that. But there's definitely a discussion to be had. It is challenging the idea that felons and criminals, lose their Second Amendment rights by becoming felons and criminals, specifically domestic violence. And what's interesting about this case is the plaintiff, the guy that wants his gun rights back, is not a good guy. He's done some pretty bad stuff.
Nathan?
No.
Oh.
He's done some crimes that I wouldn't commit. You know, he's behaved in ways that I wouldn't behave, that most gun owners don't behave.
So he shouldn't get his rights back.
Well, I don't know. That's the Supreme Court's going to decide. So what basically they're saying, hey, look, Bruin says that this is a fundamental right. The Second Amendment is.
But you got to follow the rules.
You got to
and
follow.
not break any laws.
Well, where's the line though? Because the left, the anti-gun crowd would say, hey, it's a right, but you got to follow the rules, and their rules are way more stringent, right? And we're saying, hey, it's fundamental right, it's a natural right, but you got to follow the rules. But our line's in a whole different place. So the question is this where our line is? And it's interesting that the Supreme Court took this. I know a lot of people have in the gun world for years have said that nonviolent felons should not lose their Second Amendment rights. If you do some illegal accounting, and embezzle some money, and you get put into one of those jails where you get to play golf and tennis for a year, should you lose your Second Amendment rights?
Well, that's not a deterrent. I don't know if you've noticed.
It's certainly not a deterrent, and I just don't think there's a case to be made that person's going to abuse their right to keep and bear arms because they embezzled money. But this is a little bit different case, right? This guy's really actually done some. He was accused and convicted of domestic violence. He's done some other things. He's got a criminal history beyond that. I think that they almost, the authorities in his area may have even made a mistake and they pinned his, taking his Second Amendment rights away on this one thing, where there are other things in his history that they probably should have pinned it on, but they said, "Oh no, this guy's a domestic abuser, so we're going to take his rights back." So here's the question: why is it wrong to deny people under domestic violence restraining orders their Second Amendment rights? Or more accurately, convictions. This guy was convicted of domestic violence. Should he lose his Second Amendment rights?
Did he use a weapon?
In the domestic violence? I don't know the answer to that.
So I think that
Talk about that though. What if he?
Well, that would be important.
What if he just?
If he just slapped the snot out of her,
then he could get his guns back.
Well, why'd they take him in the first place if he didn't use them in committing a crime?
Is that where? I don't know. Is that where the line should be? I don't know. I'm not.
Well, if it was you or me, and I smacked the wife around, and she turned me in, and they took my guns away.
I know this, that I am so
I mean, why are you taking my guns away?
I'm so disgusted by domestic violence, which usually when they talk about domestic violence, it means a man hitting a woman. That's really what it means. And it usually means it's somebody they're married to.
But it could be the other way around, too.
So phenomenally disgusted by that. But 99.9% of the time, it's not okay. It's not okay. San Diego County gun owners, when I started San Diego County gun owners, I said that we fight for the rights of sane, trained, law-abiding citizens. So if you're not law-abiding, in other words, you've assaulted somebody, specifically your wife, specifically a woman, we're not fighting for your rights.
Right. What do you think? Since I mouthed off.
No, I agree.
Which part?
Well, that was quick.
So here's the thing, and you bring up a great point. There's like the why. Do I think that people that are willing to commit and just cross over that line and to flip that switch and step in a domestic violence situation and be that aggressor, do I think do I like the idea of them having a gun? No. But can I back up and justify and give a legal standing as to why we should take it away? I don't know how to answer that. Do I like them having guns? No, but can I give a legal justification for taking them away? I can't.
But see, then you're going down the road.
It becomes a slippery slope.
If you take his guns away, and he's still a violent person, he's going to go get a gun someplace else if he decides he's going to use a gun.
Well,
I don't know where that could go.
Here's another issue. We're seeing it with gun violence restraining orders. People
those work good
using using it vindictively and making accusations vindictively, and I don't know if that's such a widespread problem that it should weigh into this, but it's definitely an issue.
Well, so I have an interesting question. How does the Supreme Court, decide in order how they take their cases that they're going to Judas?
They actually it's a decision-making process. There's 9 justices.
But I mean, for example, this one right now, which I think is more volatile than the last 3 that they just did this week.
Well, and they're not. So they're just. I don't know the specific.
But it'd be interesting to know that. Like they know this one's going to cause a heck of a lot of excitement.
Well, but I think there's a minor difference though. They just decided to take this case and hear it.
Yeah.
Whereas the cases I think you're describing, they actually issued an opinion.
No, I understand, but I mean, they could have taken this one first. But I think
before they released the decisions on the other ones.
Right.
I don't know. It's a good question.
It would be an interesting.
There's got to be somebody. There's got to be an office of they got to have like a PR person. Or everybody's got a PR person.
Yeah, or as they're filed.
I don't even get to talk to Alisha anymore. I have to go through a PR person.
I know.
Schedule appointments.
But you're.
It's what you just did there, where you're just kind of. That's what gun owners are doing. They're kind of going.
Well, because I'm.
Time for us to think. We got to put a thinking cap on.
The first thing that popped into my head.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is, if they didn't commit a crime with a gun, then you shouldn't have the right to take away their gun. But then you start thinking about it. Well, what are the repercussions of that? Because there's always repercussions. Yeah,
I definitely err on the side of.
Would you take their guns?
Of freedom? Well, I don't know. But I always err on the side of freedom. I've definitely been comfortable with the idea of somebody who's committed a violent crime, not having a firearm. I've never fought that. I've never argued against it. That's certainly not been a push by San Diego County gun owners.
Okay, so on that subject matter, was he convicted?
Yes.
Of domestic violence? He was. Okay, so he was convicted.
Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, he wouldn't. If he wasn't convicted, they wouldn't have been able to take his.
Okay. Well, I was just making sure. Just clarification.
But the fact that we're having difficult conversations like this, number one, I think speaks to the character of gun owners, which is fantastic. By and large, people the gun owner community are fine, upstanding, fantastic people. That's number one. Number two, the fact that we're having difficult conversations like this is also an indicator that we're doing really well. Because the discussion used to be much broader,
right?
And we've won the broad battle, and now we're kind of zeroing in down on things that are far more specific. Like, well, gee, what can does the Second Amendment apply to a domestic abuser?
Well, and you got to remember too, as a gun owner, if you say absolutely take his guns away, well, now you've set a precedent. So anytime there's a domestic violence, and it could be minor, it could be whatever, you could almost think, once you've said to take his guns away.
So, and that's kind of where I was going a couple minutes ago, where, domestic violence, I mean, obviously it's a high bar to be a convicted felon, or being convicted of domestic violence at all. But that's kind of the danger. I mean, somebody's, if it's a pushing and shoving match or whatever, it's really,
that's different.
That's why these cases are tough, Again, violence of any kind towards anyone, whether man, woman, whatever, is not good.
That's why you're not a judge.
Certainly don't. Well,
you could be.
That, and I don't really like black robes.
You don't like black robes? You look good in a black robe.
More of a purple robe guy.
No.
Or like a red velvet.
With tassels?
That'd be nice. With tassels.
You remind me of
Always.
You'd remind me of Night Court.
Hey, did you know that there's a new Night Court on? It's like, yeah. Did you know that?
No.
You remember the judge, Harry?
Yeah.
It's his daughter is the judge. And they brought,
And who's Bull?
I don't know if but they brought John Larroquette back. He's like the only connection, I think. I watched like half an episode. But,
Larroquette reminds me of you.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
We could do a variety of shows. You know that?
We could do a variety show.
Yes, we can. Gun prom tickets are on sale, and there's a couple tables left.
We're more than a couple.
Joins. No, we only have a couple left.
I don't want people going, well, I guess I can't buy.
No, they don't do that. They'll say, oh, my God, honey, get on the phone.
Even if we go to full capacity, we're not filling the room. So there's plenty of room.
Okay.
You buy a table, we'll make room for you.
That's right. We'll build
Gun
it
prom.
for you. Join San Diego County gun owners and the rest of the Second Amendment community at the Town and Country in Mission Valley. Get your fancy suit on, dresses ready, and join our like-minded people that believe in the right to self-defense. Second Amendment dinner is coming up September 16th. Mark your calendar and get your tickets now and reserve a spot for the night with great people, great food, and an opportunity to dance with Alisha. Go to gunprom.com to get your tickets. Buy a table, bring a friend, and maybe the family. That's gunprom.com and buy your tickets today.
Extra points if you bring her glass slippers.
I think so. But
that doesn't sound.
$50
I just thought about
a dance.
Are glass slippers? Were they actually a thing? Glass slippers? That sounds terribly uncomfortable.
You didn't watch
Cinderella?
No.
Yeah, well, no, I know.
Not
but
Cinderella.
Was that like a thing?
No, the
Glass
one
slippers?
where the house fell on the Wicked Witch.
Well, she didn't have. Those were ruby slippers.
Wizard of Oz?
Well, what is ruby made of?
I guess I would imagine the rubies were stuck to comfortable shoes, which made them. But I don't think they stuck glass to slippers. I think there were actually slippers made of glass.
So then it would be Cinderella.
If you're listening and you understand why they talked about glass slippers in Cinderella, write us and we'll send you a hat or a T-shirt.
Be a Sam question.
But
Because
hey,
there you go. Let's stump that guy.
I don't think New Balance makes glass slippers, so he's not going to know. All right, okay. So time for our favorite segment. Stump My Nephew. If you write in and send us a gun trivia question, we're going to ask Sam, and if you stump him, you're going to get a super special prize. But if we use your question on the air, then we'll give you a hat or a shirt. So here we go. How you doing, Sam?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm good. Do you know about glass slippers? Do you have any idea the history of glass slippers before we even get started?
They were fur slippers in the original French. It was a mistranslation because the French words for fur and glass are homophones, meaning they're spelled differently but sound the same.
Okay, I'm leaving.
I knew.
If you
I'm going home. I'm done with this show.
If you're serious, did you just make that up or is that real?
That's completely real. You can look it up.
See, I told you, make it a Sam question.
that's
We'll
it.
find out.
That's it.
We're
Let's
done.
go.
All right, see you next week.
Nice going, kid. You won again. Jeez Louise.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, please, slowly. For us old people.
It was a mistranslation in the original French. They were fur slippers, but the words sound similar in French for fur and glass, so it was translated incorrectly.
I don't even understand what just happened here.
I don't even.
I don't even understand
Yes,
what just
you
happened
do.
here. All right.
All right.
Let's get to the real
Now watch, he
question,
won't
which is
get
far
this.
much. I know.
Now he won't get this
No,
one.
he probably will, but it's far less interesting. Okay, Tony from San Francisco. He writes, which U.S. firearm brand survived World War II by selling clothes and haberdashery in the Philippines? Which U.S. firearm brand survived World War II by selling clothes and haberdashery in the Philippines?
Tony from San Francisco. Thank you very much for writing in. Which U.S. firearm manufacturer survived World War II by manufacturing clothes and haberdashery in the Philippines? For those of you who do not know, haberdashery refers to the business of making hats. And I have never heard this one before, so I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. Given that Rock Island Armory
Unbelievable.
is a modern-day manufacturer of 1911s with a factory in the Philippines, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's Rock Island.
That's a bunch of haberdashery that you just got that right.
Excellent!
Rock Island Armory traces its roots to the early 1900s as a sporting goods store in the Philippines. It began as Squires Bingham and Company when a pair of entrepreneurs opened shop in Manila. In the 1930s, it became known as Sportsman's Headquarters. During World War II, the Japanese confiscated their inventory of firearms and ammunition, and the company survived by trading in clothing and haberdashery. In 1980, the company rebranded itself as Arms Corporation of the Philippines, and in 1985, acquired the Rock Island Armory brand. Since then, Arms Corps, under its Rock Island Armory brand, is one of the leading producers of M1911 pistols in the world. In the whole world. Yeah, the Japanese weren't all that friendly to the Philippines.
No, they still aren't.
I don't know if you've read any history, Dave.
Yes, a little.
But
not like this guy.
The Japanese were not good neighbors for a bit, for a spell.
I don't even think they are today.
A lot of Asia would be rightfully excused if they filed complaints with their HOA over Japan.
You think?
They were kind of mean. Anyway, what's your latest blog?
My latest blog post from this past week is it may be a little bit of a controversial one. I hope not, but maybe it'll spark some interesting conversation.
Always does.
It's called Open Carry is Stupid, and my thesis statement is right in the title. So I know open carry is not legal in California, or at least I'm pretty sure it is, if I've done research correctly.
You have.
But in some states, including my home state of Virginia, it is legal to carry openly. In the specific case of Virginia and some others, you don't even need a permit. You can, as soon as you're legally allowed to own a handgun, you could put it on an outside holster and walk around town with it. Now, my point is, you should not. I'm not debating law here in this blog post. It's merely a matter of policy and what's safety. And if you want to hear my reasoning, then you can log on to the SDCGO blog and read it. But this is an aspect of gun ownership that many very highly renowned trainers, including Masad Ayub, are of the opinion that, you really probably should not open carry. Even people who are really gung-ho about, carry everywhere, blah, 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 generally say, it might not be the best idea to carry open. So I talk about that in the blog post, and I give my thoughts on the matter.
So you're not saying that they should outlaw open carry. You're saying that it is not a good practice. It's not a best practice that you should.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. The legal argument I'm staying out of here. It's that's sort of a separate debate. But my point is just because you can, just because it's legal, does not necessarily mean you should. There may be a few very isolated, specific circumstances in which it does make sense, but in the vast majority of instances, open carry is a lot more trouble than it's worth, and it's really not worth a whole lot generally. It doesn't gain you anything.
The only time I would open carry is years ago. I would open carry when I was hiking, like backpacking and hiking.
Yeah. That's
open carry.
the one exception
Right.
that I list is being out in the outdoors, where it kind of doesn't matter and it goes better with your gear generally. But there are so many great options out there in current year 2023 for inside the waistband holsters and even slim outside the waistband holsters that conceal really nicely under a light jacket or a sweater. Or you could with the right holster and enough practice, you can appendix carry a full size handgun. So there's really no reason you should be carrying open for all the world to see. And again, I discuss my reasoning in the blog post.
You know what would have been a better title for your blog post?
Go for it.
Keep it in your pants. Huh?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, maybe we'll add that in parentheses.
Like that.
Keep it in your pants.
I might have to hit the delay button.
Haberdashery.
I love it.
Sam, this might have been your
Best.
best performance.
Shining moment.
This may be your pinnacle right here that we're witnessing because
And not on the gun question.
it had nothing to do with. I don't even remember what the gun question was.
Everything to do with the
The
glass.
Cinderella
slippers.
question is really what we're talking about.
What are you doing?
So you're
over
saying
there?
it's all downhill from here. I'll only get worse.
Oh, hold on a second. Michael is destroying the studio equipment.
I was so excited, I ruined the microphone. I'm saying that you did a fantastic
Oh, my
job.
God.
Everything that you just talked about, the glass slipper, the haberdashery, and the Philippines. If you,
Unbelievable.
that's, by the way, write that down. That's probably a good title for your memoirs when you write them.
Yes.
Yeah, the glass slipper, the haberdashery, and the Philippines, the Sam Lichman story. Okay, fantastic job. Thank
Great
you so
job.
much. Check out his blog. Go to any of the blog page or any of the PAC pages, San Diego County Gun Owners, Inland Empire Gun Owners, Orange County Gun Owners. Go to the blog section and read his work. He is one of the best.
So you're going to go watch some fireworks? Because it's time.
Well, I know we're in a different time zone, but for me, the 4th is on Tuesday. So
Oh, that's right. What was I thinking?
I was wondering.
I got him on that one, too.
That he even knows that.
I know he even knows the date.
I do own a calendar, yes.
Taps. Nice.
Nice.
Thanks for watching this episode from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns and the Second Amendment. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just do a search for Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Click on the links in the show notes and support the businesses that support your Second Amendment rights. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.